I think the response from the community and third sector has been nothing short of inspiring. I've seen that here in the town that I stay in, the constituency that I represent, and also across the country as the Cabinet Secretary with responsibility for this across government. The community organisations that have emerged in response to their local need have been phenomenal, and so too has the way the third sector how it's adapted with real agility to respond to the emerging needs that they were faced with and the challenges that they were having to cope with.
Peak is a children's charity. We're based in the East End of Glasgow, but we operate across the city. Prior to COVID, we provided play, creative arts and community development projects for children and young people and families impacted by poverty. Lockdown for us basically meant having to stop all direct delivery services with our families and really look at what we could do in terms of a crisis response. With that, food has always been a part of what Peak does, and luckily for us we got our mobile food truck Pikachu, the keys of that literally a week before lockdown, so it was a huge bonus for us to get that.
The community had risen to the challenge of supporting people most in need, but really what was essential was that was coordinated and it was escalated where someone was actually really needing quite intensive support. So, for example, we worked very closely with the Stirling Council Communities team to staff a central contact number that people could call if they were needing support. So there was one number, they knew who they could contact when they needed help, and they knew that support was coming to them.
There was challenges at either end of the spectrum, whether it was those that suddenly had to ramp up their services because they were needed more than ever, to those that were almost having to wind down because they couldn't deliver because they couldn't have the contact that they needed.
If you think back down to lockdown, you know, lots of places were shutting up shop, people were being furloughed, whereas the third sector were right there on people's doorsteps, right in the front line, on the coalface as we always are, never giving up, always looking to see how we can help people.
It's absolutely critical that we don't just take the third sector and communities for granted. Undoubtedly going forward it's going to be challenging. We're not going to be able to do everything for everyone. That's the hard side of it. But we should also not take the effort that we've seen and witnessed over the last 5 months for granted. And it's incumbent on us all, whether you're a politician or an individual, to make sure that we say thank you for what has happened. And I think for the awards, it gives us a moment and a real chance to really articulate strongly and powerfully to the sector our gratitude for everything that has gone on over the last 5 months.